Okay, so it looks like you've really been digging into the 2025 NBA playoffs lately.
Mm,
We're seeing searches, for schedules, the bracket, Western Conference standings specifically,
right.
even things like tiebreakers and what the scenarios look like for teams like the Lakers and the Warriors. It seems like you're ready to get the real picture.
Yeah, people want to cut through the noise. And we've also got some interesting expert audio analysis on the West matchups to fold in.
Perfect. So that's our mission today, right? To
Yeah.
distill all that down, give you the essential info on the Western Conference playoff landscape, key teams, potential clashes, what the experts are thinking.
Exactly. Your quick guide to getting up to speed on the West without having to sift through everything yourself.
All right, let's start with the basics. The foundation for all of this is obviously the regular season standings.
Absolutely fundamental. I mean, those standings, they dictate everything. Who's in, who's out, seeding.
And who ends up in that play-in tournament?
Right. It's the payoff or, the consequence of all 82 games.
It's funny how we get to this point, and suddenly every single win or loss from months ago feels, well, huge.
It really does, magnified. That final spot in the standings, it can mean the difference between a, let's say, manageable path and a really brutal one.
Like home court advantage.
Exactly. Home court in a Game 7. That's earned way back in the regular season. Crucial.
Now, speaking of pressure,
Mhm.
the play-in tournament. That's clearly on your radar based on searches like NBA play-in and play-in schedule.
Oh, yeah, the play-in. Teams ranked 7th to 10th battling for those last two spots in each conference. It's really shaken things up, hasn't it?
Totally. How so?
Well, it keeps hope alive longer for more teams, right? Teams that maybe would have been checked out weeks ago under the old system.
Now they've got a shot, a real chance to sneak into the actual playoffs.
And you feel that urgency, that intensity at the end of the season. It's palpable.
Knowing just one or two wins in the play-in could change everything.
It adds this layer of unpredictability and strategy, too. Teams might eye certain play-in matchups, maybe rest players differently down the stretch.
Interesting. And your searches show a definite focus on the West. Western Conference standings, NBA West standings, even specific teams like the Timberwolves, Lakers, Warriors.
Well, the West is typically seen as the tougher conference, right? A real gauntlet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that seeding, getting every possible advantage, feels even more critical out West. Even moving up one spot can really change who you might face.
And once those seeds are set, we get the playoff bracket.
Mm.
We see searches for NBA bracket, playoff bracket 2025. You're visualizing the path.
The bracket is the roadmap, isn't it? It shows you the potential journey, who plays who, round by round.
And it highlights that reward for a higher seed. Maybe an easier first round, potentially. And definitely home court.
Definitely home court.
Okay, but you need the dates to follow along. Playoff schedule, when do NBA playoffs start? Lakers playoff schedule. People want to know when.
Ah, yeah. That schedule release, that's when it feels really official. The anticipation ramps up. Teams and fans can circle dates.
Now, this is where it gets really specific. Searches for NBA tiebreakers. Even Clippers, Warriors, tiebreaker. That's thinking ahead.
Tiebreakers. The unsung heroes, or villains, depending on your team.
Right.
When records are identical, these rules decide the seeding. And often, it comes down to head-to-head results.
So a game back in, December could decide a first-round matchup in April.
Precisely. It gives those regular season games against potential rivals so much extra weight. It's not just one win or loss in the standings anymore.
Wow. Adds another layer.
For sure.
And then speculation starts. NBA playoff scenarios, Warriors playoff scenarios, exploring the what-ifs.
That's half the fun for fans, isn't it? Playing out the possibilities. It shows you how interconnected everything is. A win here, a loss there, it sends ripples across the whole bracket like dominoes.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring in some outside perspective. We listened to this audio discussion, NBA playoffs preview West Series picks. Gives us a sense of how some insiders see things.
Yeah, interesting stuff. They had Oklahoma City firmly as the 1 seed and Houston holding down the 2 seed, which is still a bit of a surprise.
Right, and they jumped right into that potential 7-8 play-in game, Golden State Warriors hosting the Memphis Grizzlies.
And they pointed out, interestingly, that the Warriors are in that spot partly because James Harden played so well against the Clippers late in the year.
Yep.
Knock-on effects.
And already a storyline there. Jimmy Butler's injury status for the Warriors. That's a big question mark hanging over that game.
Huge. The betting info they mentioned was interesting, too. Total points at 229.5. Warriors as 7-point favorites.
Against a fast Memphis
A
team.
very fast Memphis team. And they noted the coaching contrast. A first-time head coach for the Grizz against, Steve Kerr.
Experience versus youth there.
Yeah, and history, too. They brought up that Memphis actually beat Golden State in a play-in game before, upset them.
Oh, right. I remember that. Add some spice.
Definitely. So there's this feeling that, yeah, Golden State is favored, but Memphis, with their pace and physicality, it's maybe not the ideal single-game matchup for the Warriors.
One expert even thought the Warriors might prefer playing OKC later rather than Houston.
Yeah, that was a bit counterintuitive, but it was floated. Seems like the experts are a bit split on the Warriors overall. They see the potential, but they can't overlook this play-in hurdle, that 7-point spread.
Yeah.
There was debate if it was too high, with one leaning towards the over on points because of Memphis' style.
It sounds like a recurring theme for the Warriors came up, too.
Ah, the third score. Yes.
Yeah.
Beyond Curry, and assuming he plays Butler, who steps up consistently,
Right.
they've apparently struggled sometimes even when those two play well. That loss at home to the Clippers was mentioned as an example highlighting that need, especially if Butler isn't 100%.
Okay, what about other matchups? They touched on the 4-5, Clippers and Nuggets. Briefly. Seemed to be a general lean towards the Clippers winning that series, though maybe not overwhelmingly.
Gotcha. And the 3-6, Lakers versus Timberwolves.
Yeah, more consensus there, it seemed, favoring the Lakers.
What is that?
Mostly pedigree, right? LeBron's playoff history, the Lakers' experience, compared to some question marks about the Timberwolves' consistency, especially after Towns' injury absence. Betting odds were part of that discussion, too.
So experience versus maybe a less proven team.
That seemed to be the thinking.
And when they talked about, like, long shots to win the whole West.
Interestingly, both the Lakers and the Clippers got mentioned there. Teams that maybe aren't top seeds, but have the talent or experience to make a deep run.
A potential Clippers-Lakers second round. That'd be something.
Oh, yeah. That possibility was definitely noted as one to watch.
So bringing it back to the play-in for a second, hearing that expert breakdown, it really emphasizes how that structure creates, well, potential chaos early on.
Totally. A team like the Warriors, usually a comfortable top 6 maybe, now faces elimination just to get into the main bracket. It's high stakes from the jump.
Okay, so summing this all up, we've gone through the standings being key, the play-in, adding drama in a tough Western Conference.
Right. The bracket as a roadmap, the schedule setting the stage.
The nitty-gritty of tiebreakers, exploring all the what-if scenarios, and folding in that expert analysis, giving us specific things to watch, like that Warriors-Grizzlies game or the Lakers-Timberwolves series.
Yeah, and the big takeaway feels like the play-in has just injected this extra dose of unpredictability. Nothing's really guaranteed, even for established teams. That extra hurdle changes things.
So maybe here's the final thought to chew on. With the play-in, adding this unpredictability and the potential for upsets it creates even before round one, how does that change how we think about who the favorites really are in the West this year? It feels like maybe that traditional idea is being challenged, you know? The path just seems way more open, more volatile than maybe ever before.